Hi retail class, ready for English today? So I told you yesterday that we were starting to look at persuasive writing this week. So yesterday you looked at features of persuasive writing. So today we're going to have a look at one of those features. Okay, so our LO today is to use time adverbials to add cohesion to your writing. Okay, if you don't understand what the LO is, don't you worry, you will as we go through. Okay, so time adverbials. What are they? Let's have a look. We might know them as other things. Yeah, so they're also known as fronted adverbials of time, which is a big mouthful, or time connectives. So a fronted adverbial of time is a big mouthful, but it's nothing scary. Let's break it down. Fronted, at the front of the sentence, quite easy. Adverbial, snazzy word. It's just a phrase that adds detail or description to a sentence. And of time, it describes the time something might be happening, how often it happens. Okay, so fronted adverbials of time sounds snazzy, but it's not when we break it down. So why do we need to use them? Why do we use time adverbials and fronted time adverbials? Okay, so using time adverbials and fronted adverbials of time makes our writing more sophisticated. Okay, it makes it higher level writing by adding in that extra detail. They are also useful to show your reader the progression of writing, the order something happened, and to add cohesion to your paragraphs, which means cohesion means that it blends, you're writing links. So it's not just separate paragraphs and separate sentences, you're linking it together. So I might say, Lucy tied her shoelaces, Lucy went to the park. Now I could blend them and add cohesion by saying, first, Lucy tied her shoelaces. After that, she went to the park. Okay, do you see the difference? It blends it together, makes it sound more sophisticated, but also gives your reader more information and links it better for your reader. So here are some time adverbials. So have a look at those. Probably know quite a few of them. We've got eventually, never, early, first. Some that aren't on there, which we might use in persuasive writing, is firstly, secondly, after that, next. Okay, so we're going to have a look at a paragraph that I took from one of the examples I gave you yesterday for your persuasive writing. Can I improve this paragraph by adding time adverbials? Okay, so we're going to read this one first, and then I'll read the other one after I've added in a few time adverbials. My other main reason is that mobile phones are necessary to have in case of an emergency. For instance, if you fall down a flight of stairs in a building and you are badly injured and can't reach a payphone, it is good to have a mobile phone on hand to use. Or, if your car breaks down in the middle of the night in a strange neighbourhood, it would be dangerous to leave it in search of a public phone booth. Not only will you worry about your car being neglected, but you could also put yourself in a lot of danger. Okay, that's quite a good paragraph. Okay, it's a strong argument. There's two points in there of why you need a mobile phone in an emergency. Let's just see if we can improve it slightly by just adding in some time adverbials. Some of them fronted, some of them just time adverbials, which means anywhere in the sentence. Oh, as ever, Miss James can't work a computer. Okay, so here's my slightly improved version. I've put the time adverbials in pink. Secondly, my other main reason is that mobile phones are necessary to have in case of an emergency. For instance, one day you might fall down a flight of stairs in a building and you are badly injured. It is good to have a mobile phone to ring for help. On rare occasions, your car breaks down, often somewhere strange and unfamiliar. It would be dangerous to leave it to find a phone to use. You could put yourself in a lot of danger. So the paragraph wasn't exactly the same. I took out some of the points. But I was just trying to show you that where I've added in these time adverbials, I think it's improved it, okay? It's telling my reader, if this was in a big argument, that that's my second point, okay? So that should be quite straightforward, okay? And it just adds a bit more detail. For instance, you might fall down a flight of stairs. Perfectly fine. For instance, one day you might fall down a flight of stairs. Just shows that it doesn't happen very often. By adding in that time adverbial, we've added in that detail. And again, here, where it says your car breaks down, that's not something that happens very often. So if we add in, on rare occasions, your car breaks down, again, it shows that it would be an emergency situation. So it adds to your first sentence and it adds to your argument because you're adding in that we know that these are rare occasions, but still a good reason. Okay, so let's have a look. Fronted time adverbials can help link your points when writing your argument. That's when we might use firstly, secondly, next, to help link our paragraphs and link our points to show that they are all connected, even though they're different points. We could use time adverbials such as firstly, secondly, next, also, lastly, finally, on rare occasions, occasionally, at the start of each paragraph. We could also use some of those words in a sentence within the paragraph to help add cohesion and a bit of oomph to our argument. Fronted time adverbials also give your argument structure and order, okay? So it makes it easier for you to write because you would be using firstly, secondly, finally. So I know that's going to be your last paragraph because you've written finally or lastly. And just time adverbials, so where we use them anywhere in the sentence. They can help your points, not written very well. They can help your points be stronger in your argument. By me saying in the previous thing that your car might break down and me adding in on rare occasions, we're making my point stronger. I'm showing I know that it doesn't happen very often, but it still could happen. Okay, we also use time adverbials such as never, now, sometimes, always to add strength to the point. It shows you how often something might happen. So if you're trying to say you don't need a mobile phone, you could say you would never need it in an emergency as opposed to something else. Okay, it adds strength to your point. Or if you're trying to say you do need a phone for emergencies because sometimes these things happen. Okay, adding in those time adverbials adds strength to your point. Time adverbials can also give your argument power by adding the urgency. So if I'm saying, if we don't stop buying tuna that's not sourced responsibly, which doesn't help the dolphins, I might say, this can never happen, or now is the time to act. This is always dangerous for the dolphins. It adds urgency, which helps your reader come to your point of view and think, do you know what? They're right. Because they've added in those words, they're right. It's an emergency. It's urgent. Let's have a look at our activities for today. So activity 1, you're going to answer the question boxes about time adverbials. So there's a worksheet attached with some questions about time adverbials. Activity 2, so we're all going to do the same thing today. You're going to use the for and against argument points that I've attached, which is about children having break time at school or home learning right now. Okay, so it's arguments for and against that, just simple arguments and sentences. And I would like you to add time adverbials to them to improve them. If you want to turn it into a whole argument, that would be fantastic because it's going to help you do your big write on Friday, which will be to write a for or against argument on something. So it would be good practice. But the main thing is adding in those time adverbials to improve the sentence. You can't just choose any time adverbial to the sentence. It needs to make sense. So make sure you read your sentence out loud to see if it makes sense. Maybe you could use it somewhere else in the sentence if you've put it at the front. Okay, so your challenge, if you're thinking, that's a little bit easy for me, I would love you to try and add more than one time adverbial to the sentence. That can be difficult, but it can be done. And that will give your sentence and your argument even more oomph, urgency, and make it stronger. Okay? So all the attachments are on the file, activity 1, activity 2, and there is also a word mat included with time adverbials on there. Okay? If you're not sure, or if you think that can't be all the time adverbials, you are free to have a look online. There are more time adverbials you can use, but I didn't want to add 5 different word mats for you. Okay? Good luck. Have fun.